More news in now you have the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, who's confirmed that Suresh Prabhu did offer to resign. He said that the Prime Minister will take a decision. Accountability is a good system in the government is what the top minister is saying. It's coming ahead of the much anticipated cabinet reshuffle. Accountability is a good system in the government. That's what Arun Jaitley has said when he was asked about Suresh Prabhu's resignation, saying the final decision is over the Prime Minister. But the fact that accountability is a good system in the government says a lot as well. Rahul Srivastav joining us on the story. Rahul, it says a lot when Arun Jaitley talks about accountability as a good system in the government. The Prime Minister may have told Suresh Prabhu to wait, but is it only a matter of time? Cabinet reshuffle is also around the corner.
Devina, what we can say is that this time around when the accident in Muzaffarnagar happened, at that time, given the extent, the number of deaths, and also the frequency with which railway accidents were happening, there was a sense of political and public disquiet over the manner in which railways was being run. And that is why you see that not just at the ordinary district level or the division level there were decisions taken, but at the higher level also people were sent out a signal that the government is planning to act up.
Yes.
But then came the another accident which was in Oraiya, and after that it seems that the railway minister himself was under pressure. And that pressure directly translates into attacks on the Prime Minister and his government.
Yes.
And that is why what we can say, to put a lid on the kind of protests which are happening right now, the Prime Minister has, the Railway Minister has offered to resign.
Okay.
The Prime Minister.
Okay, we'll play out that reaction also, Rahul. Thanks for getting us this news. But we're also joined by Adhiranjan Chaudhary, former MOS Railways, who's with us. Mr. Chaudhary, your first response on the news that Suresh Prabhu has taken moral responsibility of the various human tragedies in railways and offered to resign.
See, it's a good gesture by the Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu. I always appreciate the minister himself personally, because he has been trying according to his own capacity. But the railway itself has failed miserably, as it is proved because of the daily railway accidents in frequent manner. Already railway accidents has assumed an alarming proportion, much to the concern and chagrin of all the common people of our country. But only offering the resignation cannot be interpreted as a panacea to the ills suffered by the railway. And Suresh Prabhu cannot be held responsible only individually. It is the responsibility of the entire government to look after all this issue. I am not a person to single out Suresh Prabhu and hit him. No, because already the railway budget is marked with the general budget. So the entire government has to be has to take the responsibility. It is the owner.
But Mr. Chaudhary, here is the point. When you were MOS Railways, you said that even by a single stroke, we cannot solve all the problems that have been infecting the Indian railway system over the decade. That time, Mallikarjun Kharge was a railway minister. Now, merging of the rail budget with the financial budget is to improve efficiencies as well as what the government has said. Before this, we also have some more reactions coming in. Request you, Mr. Chaudhary, to be with us. Babul Supriyo now joining us as well. Mr. Supriyo, your first response on Suresh Prabhu offering to resign now. Accountability being sought from the government of the day.
Well, we just also heard what Arun Jaitley had to say. But let's understand one thing. At the very beginning, I would like to say that it has got nothing to do with the cliche demands of the opposition for the resignation of the railway minister. Let's put a few things. This is not a political statement. I have been in politics for only 3 years, so please take me on face value. I'm not talking politics. What I'm saying is that it is a huge system, it's a huge network, one of the biggest in the world. And if you're talking about making it a healthy system in 3 years, I think it is quite an impossible task. But this man is, if you see him, he's engrossed in his work, he's doing his very best. And the last 3 years, we have seen railway take some unpopular decisions in terms of revenue, in terms of cancellation of tickets, in terms of having new, online systems set. A lot of these things have not been populist measures, and that's a huge deviation from the manner in which the railways have been handled over the years. I'm not going to take any political party names, but as youngsters, we have seen, Lalu Prasad Yadav doing Kulhar Ka Chai and all of that stuff. But the main, the essence of the health of the railways, it has remained. New trains have been announced, appeasement things have been done, but they were not taken care of. Wherein the operating costs of the railways left only about 2-3 rupees to be spent on the infrastructure and the health of the railways. That's very true. Those are mathematics. Now we have also seen, TMC making Dinesh Trivedi resign because there was a 1 rupee increase in the revenue. These are populist measures, and for so many years, the railway ministry has been a plum way to appease the allies of the government, which this government has definitely not done. It has taken unpopular measures to resurrect the railways. Now, I have seen a lot of people bringing bullet trains. Ambitions must exist. India must move in the right direction in certain areas, but at the same time, this government is very serious about making the railways a healthy system. The culture has been so bad. You're coming out with these beautiful trains like Tejasvi Express. In 2 days, it is getting completely dilapidated. So these things need to change, and he's diligently working on that. While we really respect the manner in which he has said that, officials, my colleagues have been asked to put in their papers, and under the circumstances, I feel back to remain as the railway minister.
But Mr. Supriyo, here is a point as well, and I want to get some clarity and get also some insight into how the government is working, because Suresh Prabhu takes to Twitter, he expresses his anguish. He also says the Prime Minister has asked me to wait. Suresh Prabhu being the man who's promised to turn around the railway, and it's been a legacy of tragedies that's been associated with this ministry, had ample opportunities. Dinesh Trivedi, whom we just talked about, was earlier with me, and he said that Kakotkar committee was formed by me. We also had suggested some safety level for railway that could have been implemented, and much wasn't done. Did he waste a lot of time in dealing with the bureaucracy rather than implementing decisions?
Kakotkar committee has come up with, I think, about 106 recommendations, of which 52 have been accepted and implemented, are on the process of being implemented by the railways. A couple of them have already been implemented. Just tell me, when a committee recommends about 106, 52 of them being accepted, I think that's a very good rate. So that you think that, it's just take what is the system of the railways? Can you really change an entire track in like 3 years, the entire network of the country? How many thousand kilometers do we have in the railways? The question is, or the answer is, not to seek for resignations from railway ministers who are doing a good job. Human errors are responsible for many of these railway accidents. It has been that in the past. It has been in many of these cases.
Mr. Supriyo, but I want to just point out one more thing, sir. There's been a CAG report which is called even the railway basic catering food unfit for humans. And there have been these warning signs given out earlier. My point is this, that at this time you have Suresh Prabhu saying that I take moral responsibility of the human tragedy. I offer to resign. On the other side, you have the finance minister saying accountability is good. So now is the writing on the wall? Will the next cabinet reshuffle see Suresh Prabhu out?
Honorable Finance Minister's comment need not be deciphered in this manner. What he tried to say is that every minister is accountable and he has the moral responsibility of being honest to the country and offering to resign. That's, I think, what he meant by it. Let's not read it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Supriyo, thanks for joining us. Arvind Sawant also joining us from Shiv Sena. Mr. Sawant, how Shiv Sena saying Prabhu's offer to resign?
I feel he must have part of his accountability responsibility, moreover moral responsibility. Of such number of accidents are taken place, number of deaths and also increased. And he was trying hard, no doubt about it. But somehow he did not get a success what he wanted to deliver. And taking into consideration moral responsibility, he has offered his resignation on the Prime Minister. Now it's the prerogative of the Prime Minister to take a decision on that.
Mr. Sawant, the Finance Minister has said that accountability is good in the government. This even as the Prime Minister says has told Suresh Prabhu to wait. Is it now writing on the wall that Suresh Prabhu will be asked to make way for another minister?
I think I just said it's a prerogative of the Honorable Prime Minister to decide on this. It is his moral duty, he has done it, and he has offered his resignation. Now it's left to the Honorable Prime Minister to take a decision on this.
But do you believe now, already the opposition is saying there is a dearth of top ministers in the government, in the current cabinet. There are portfolios that are being shared by a single minister as well. Can the government of the day afford to let go of Suresh Prabhu? After all, he's been a credible face of the railway ministry.
See, it's not that he is left out of the railway ministry, he's left out of the government. He can be, he's a wonderful person to be saying. He's a man of a wonderful utility for the government. It can be done.
So if not Suresh Prabhu, then who is the next competent minister to be in the line?
Oh my goodness, this is not my, it doesn't come under my purview.
But in your opinion, did Suresh Prabhu deliver? At least did Suresh Prabhu deliver on the promise of a clean governance? Did Suresh Prabhu deliver on the promise of clean governance? He was one of the first ministers to respond on the social media and take to Twitter anytime any crisis happened. He made sure that everyone is up to date on what's the situation in the ground. He took even the station masters into accountability. Do you believe that Suresh Prabhu did deliver?
Yes, I said it, that he could not deliver it. He tried. I said he tried his best, but could not deliver the result as desired by himself. I believe aside from other people. He himself may not have been satisfied with his overall result.
Well, the opposition has said, Mr. Sawant, the Congress in particular has said that this time the railway ministry's record has been quite dismal. They have alleged that the number of accidents under the NDA government are much higher than the UPA government. That means there are incompetent ministers heading the ministries. Now, do you believe that charge?
But I agree. I think it is. What was the day when a single accident even if it takes place, the railway minister should resign. This time it has number of accidents has done, and it must have hurt us if it was not. That even if after his being the minister, he could not prevent the accident, he could not prevent all the things. With a moral sense, he must have everything now.
But there is a burden of a past legacy as well for this ministry. I've been speaking to former railway officials as well. They said that the rot is within the system, and to clean it up, it takes time. It is not the lack of political will, it is also a bureaucratic hurdle. So, do you believe resignation of Suresh Prabhu is the answer?
Well, it is his responsibility. He has to do it. I mean, he cannot say no to that. But it's a fact, I have also experienced. The bureaucrats are so rigid. And when we ask for some services, they are so rigid and master of excuses. They are general managers for excuses. Managers for excuses.
But Mr. Sawant, here is also the point. Mamata Banerjee had offered to resign from a post during her first stint as a railway minister. That was also under Mr. Vajpayee's government in 2000. But Atal Bihari Vajpayee had rejected her resignation. Do you believe now the Prime Minister should give Suresh Prabhu another chance?
I said it is his prerogative. I said it time ago. It is the prerogative of the Honorable Prime Minister to either accept it or not to accept it, or give another chance to do it. It is prerogative. I think Suresh Prabhu has done his moral duty, and according to that, he has offered his resignation.
All right, Mr. Sawant, appreciate you joining us. That's the word coming in from Shiv Sena. Let's also take a listen in to what the Finance Minister has said.
Well, accountability is a good system in government. No, the Prime Minister will take a decision on whatever request the Railway Minister has made.
There you have the Finance Minister saying the accountability is a good system in the government. Now, this statement needs to be watched out because we have a cabinet reshuffle around the corner. You also have the JDU that's joined the NDA now. There could be offer of top ministerial berths to them as well. So who, if not Suresh Prabhu, is the question up? The Prime Minister is saying that wait right now. Suresh Prabhu, interestingly, taking it to Twitter to announce his decision. Now, it is not a routine matter that a minister who's been asked by the Prime Minister to wait would take to a Twitter and say that I have met the Honorable Prime Minister, taking full responsibility. The Honorable Prime Minister has asked me to wait. And that's the news that Suresh Prabhu chose to give through social media. And also we've seen the kind of reactions that have come in till now. You have the Congress which has been asking for Suresh Prabhu to be sacked. Till now, the government has been mum on it. We haven't seen much of defense on Suresh Prabhu also. And on top of that, you have the finance minister saying that accountability is good for the government.